you are not as ugly as you think. I know that initially when you hear that, you're thinking, come on, you cannot be serious right now. I'm a very ugly guy, this and that and that. But I need you to listen to me. You are not an ugly guy the way that you think you are. You're actually a lot more attractive than you think. And in this video, I'm going to explain it to you. So I did a little bit of searching on my iPad here. Looks like a laptop, but I got an iPad stand. And I watched the video, and it was this guy, one of these alpha male guys, right? The guys that call themselves an alpha male. And he was talking to this guy who he was giving advice to. And this guy was basically telling him, looks are everything. I'm completely screwed. Look at the way I am. I don't have that fuckboy type of look. And this guy that called himself an alpha male was explaining to him that you need to stop feeling sorry for yourself. You need to stop thinking that you have to look a specific way to be attractive. And for all the hate that I give towards these alpha male guys because they think they're all that, I actually agreed with this guy in this video. Now, I'm not going to show you this video. I'm showing you what I will be showing you is an objective view, what a lot of women today might be finding attractive in the modern world. So another thing, firstly, we have to take into account that looks are something that there's usually a trend in what people consider attractive and what isn't attractive. You know, same works for the body. Like 20 years ago, the way that your body was physically shaped was there was always a specific ideal body type that women liked in a man, and vice versa. So it's evolved over time, and obviously today, because of steroids and the increased trend of lifting and gymming, it's obviously increased. So now there's increased expectations about how your body is. If you look how a ripped guy would look 10 years ago, people would think you're an average guy today. So firstly, we have to take into account standards. And according to what I've seen from standards, and from what I've seen from the guys who have had the most success, whether it was in school or just the dating area, it's always guys that kind of look like, let's see this. All right, let me give you a good visual. It's this. So I searched up famous TikTok handsome fuckboy, and it's this kind of look right here. So right here you can see, you know, he's got a good defined jawline. You know, he's got good facial structure. Got very clear skin and everything, but you can kind of get the gist of what today's ideal look is kind of like. This one isn't as clear of a visual, but here's another one. You know, you can see it's the same kind of like the TikTok cut or whatever you call it. I don't know what it is. He's got the same kind of facial structure, the same kind of clear skin. So you can kind of get an idea of what people consider to be very attractive or hot these days from women's perspective. But we also have to take into account that a big part of that is based on standards. So what you see right here, maybe 100 years ago, women would find something completely different attractive. There were times hundreds of years ago where people would find things that are men that are completely plump and fat attractive, but they had a certain style or a certain kind of fashion that made themselves look better. If it was in France, 1700s, you know, where people wore those completely white wigs, obviously there's different standards. So the number one thing you have to take into account is that there's standards for attractiveness, and you can't completely rate yourself based on the modern trend of looks. Just because there's a specific type of look, like what I showed you with the TikTok hair, F-boy kind of vibe and cut and everything, and with no facial hair or nothing, and just completely clear skin and sharp jawline, slim, just because that's the particular trendiness right now, it doesn't mean as a whole you're an unattractive male. So just because you're a male that doesn't look like that, maybe you're a different race, skin color, your hair is different, your hair is naturally different, a lot more flat, your facial structure is a little different naturally, and there's not much you can do about it. There's really is no reason to feel sorry about that. So therefore, you are not as ugly as you think. And this is also going to lead me into another point. People think that attractiveness has everything to do with the way that your particular face is structured. Now, you're getting all these types of tips online where people tell you if you want to be more attractive, you have to do sprints 3 times a week. You have to do this with your chin like this. You have to do a specific facial exercise and movement. all the, like 10 times a day. I'm going to give you specifically what I have been doing. Now, me, I know I'm not a Chad looking guy, and I have things I can work on. So I created a full looks development routine that I put here. So it's very hard to read, but there's through 5 sections here. There's basics, then there's a hair routine, facial aesthetics, fashion, and mental health. And when you start with level 1, the basics, we have got skincare, so that's obvious. So the 4 things you would need for that are, and I actually got them back there, but in my where I usually do my skincare, but you need to have an exfoliator, got to have some sort of a sunscreen, you need a moisturizer, and on top of that you need a cleanser. So I will actually be right back, and until then I will show you exactly what I use. So what we can see, guys, is these are the essentials, the things that you have to use. Now, I wouldn't use these every day, but for example, you don't need the exact brand I have, but this is the exfoliator I have. It is called a salicylic acid exfoliating facial scrub. You put a little bit of it, just a tad bit, on your hand, rub it on your face, you leave it there for a little bit, and then you wash it off. That's very good. I've been noticing some changes in my face. I don't have acne, my face isn't too rough. It's a very nice, good exfoliator. I would use that 2 to 3 times a week personally. A good sunscreen, especially since it's summertime, you don't want rashes, you don't want your face to get all messed up. Right here, sunscreen. And I have my cleanser in there, I left it in there. And right here is a moisturizer. I have another moisturizer in there that I'll alternate. So this one I'll use once a day, every morning. It's one of those things where you kind of cut it open and you just kind of squeeze it, put it on your hand, and you rub it over your face. So these are some of the main essentials you need for your face. Right here, sunscreen, exfoliator, the moisturizer, and then back there, cleanser. So these 3 are the essentials. So that comes down to the main basics. You got the skincare, diet. I don't need to show you anything. I think we all have a general idea what you need to do for your diet. Salmon, fish, chicken, rice, all that good stuff. Sleep, that's obvious. That's very obvious. My bed's actually behind me right here, so I'm going to sleep right after this video. We got working out. So whatever it is that you want to do, if it's for your particular sport, you don't need to follow a specific alpha male lifting regimen. Just do whatever it is that you like to do, but make sure that you're active, you're doing some sort of resistance training, so you're building some sort of muscle. And while you're doing that, try to make sure you're losing some fat so that you have that lean, chiseled look, because I can't lie to you guys, it is better to have that. You do look more objectively attractive as a man when you do that. In addition to that, we have cardio, hydration, water, teeth cleaning. I don't need to show you that. You just what you do is you can, for me personally, I'll rub a bit of baking soda, mix it with my toothpaste, kind of make like a little paste, combine, and I'll rub that on my teeth a couple times a week. It makes your teeth look a lot whiter. Vitamin D, and then hair routine. Hair routine is very important. So right now I'm wearing a hat because my hair is all over the place. Don't really want to show right now, but I'll do it just for the guys. Not the best, but I will have to get it cut soon. Right here, what I use for my hair, we got castor oil. So what I use is every morning, when I start off my day, after a shower, dry my hair a little bit, and I will put this just a tad bit. I'll rub it all over my hair, and I'll shape it however I want to shape it. Then I'll rub a bit on my eyebrows just for that eyebrow fullness and thickness so that your eyebrows aren't too skinny. I do need to get my eyebrows trimmed though. So this is great for shaping and styling your hair. For me, I like to slick it back, maybe add a little bit of curls here and there. Very nice. So these are the main essentials you need. Besides that, there's nothing crazy that you can do to make yourself look like those guys that you're seeing online. But you do need to remember that finally, the third thing I'm going to talk about. So the first thing we talked about is that just because you're not objectively attractive based on a particular trend like what I showed you, it doesn't mean you are totally unattractive as a person. It just means that maybe you don't fit the particular trend. It doesn't mean not everybody's going to find you attractive. A lot of people probably will. And that's why all of us, at the end of the day, if we truly set our minds to it, we will have success in the dating world and in life. Now, we talked about that, 1. We talked about 2, the essentials and what every man needs and how it's not that complicated. Got the sunscreen, moisturizer, exfoliator, and the castor oil. Thirdly and finally, personality. Guys, I've already made countless videos on this. I've made a video called Looks Maxing is a Scam because to some degree, although looks are important, it can be a scam if you take it the wrong way. Guys, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Highly recommended book. This isn't an ad at all. I wasn't paid to represent this book, but seriously, I showed you guys this book because personality, guys, it is honestly everything. And if you can't master the personality too, I don't think you're going to have success if you don't learn the ways of how to deal with people. It is very important. I'm not saying that you have to be some crazy charming guy because some people are just naturally socially gifted, but your social skills are something that no matter how good you are, you can always improve at it. You might not be the most gifted guy in the world, but all of us can improve to some degree. So trying to interact with people more and trying to be more of a listener than just a talker who just blabs on and on about yourself and what you have going on for you. So those are my main 3 things that I have to tell you guys about why you're not as ugly as you think. Number 1, one more time, just because you don't fit a particular trend, I'll show you one more time, just because you don't fit this particular trend or look, it doesn't mean that you are objectively or wholly or terribly unattractive. It just means based on the trend, you might not fit that particular trend. It doesn't mean you're unattractive as a male. You probably do have potential. It's just something that you have to keep working on, which leads me to my second point. All you need is the essentials. You're not unattractive. There's just a couple things that are holding you back. Your skin, maybe your body. Focus on improving those areas of your life. Again, the essentials, you got the sunscreen, the moisturizer, the exfoliator, you got the castor oil, some other supplements I have back there that I've mentioned, vitamin D, the cleanser, focusing on the essentials. And thirdly and finally, guys, the personality, which is why I showed you guys this book, not as an ad, but just as an example of something you could read to learn a little bit more about social skills and how important they are. So those are the 3 things that are my best pieces of evidence to prove to you guys and to explain to you guys that your looks are not terrible. You're not an ugly looking guy. You're just a normal dude, or you might be even better looking than average. You just have that potential, but you need to let it out more through taking the necessary action, working on your personality, using more of these things. And before you know it, you'll be all set, dude. So therefore, you're not as ugly as you think.